a Welcome to Wraith Unlimited product. It is one of the shorter printed cards.
Taking in consideration on what hero you plan to play and like your matchups, but like really what it comes down to is hi all and welcome to episode 24 of the Win and In podcast. I am your host Eric Dauernheim, and today I got my other two amigos here, my co-hosts Gabe Honstein and Jonathan Wyatt. How y'all doing?
Great.
Doing well, Eric. How are you?
Doing good. A lot to talk about today. This is probably going to be one of our longer podcasts because we are fresh coming out of Baltimore. Me and Jonathan, so sad that Gabe couldn't come with us, but me, Jonathan, and the rest of Team Sneep went to the Pro Tour and the calling and everything that Baltimore had to give. So we got a lot to break down there. And then we're going to talk about the road to nationals coming up as well and what to kind of expect and, you know, going forward there. So we got a lot of time. Well, let's just get right into it. We'll start with Baltimore. So first thing, we'll go through the timeline. You know, Thursday happens and we get if you attended, you got the players meeting where you get some little sneak peeks into what to be expected from Dusk to Dawn, and a lot was mentioned there. Now, Jonathan, you weren't able to be there, nor were you, Gabe, but I'm kind of curious, and I'll ask you first, Jonathan, is what is some of the big things that you took from this meeting?
Yeah, so it seems like we revisited a lot of interesting topics, especially around like the new Prism that we're getting. So a lot of announcement really towards that Dusk till Dawn section. And that was really exciting to see because I think a lot of us are anticipating, you know, a second coming of the Spawn arc and introducing the new heroes. So that was kind of one of the biggest announcements, was just that we were going to see more. We got a little sneak peek of a young Prism early on, and then another young Runeblade hero that was not Chain. Kind of interesting.
It was not Chain.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. Vincent, I think that's the name.
Yeah, that's what ended up getting spoiled at the end. Looks kind of interesting. You know, I heard a lot of people kind of see the hero at first, and then they were like, you know, like that's kind of weird, a Runeblade female. But you know what? We're accepting around here, right? At Team Sneep, we like to see these females enter the fray of combat. And then also this new Runeblade looks like she had like spikes kind of going in her, like a little bit of that.
She's into acupuncture.
Yeah. She really enjoys that that, you know, that Eastern medicine. You know, really going for that. It really fits that like Runeblade theme, and also it's kind of a little sadistic in some terms. So I'm like really hyped for it. When I actually started explaining it to other people and like talking about it a little bit more, I got a lot of people hyped on the Runeblade train. So hoping that you know, some of our viewers end up following that and join along with me. I'm really excited to see you know, these new heroes, and I think it's a lot of cool stuff that came out.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. You know, we have Chain, who's been long banned, or because Living Legend, I should say. And then Briar is probably going to hit that here at this RTN season, you know. So, of course, you got your classic Viscerai, but it feels like this was needed. It feels like you needed to have another Runeblade, and especially a Shadow one, just to make use of those dimensional gateways and what have you. But curious because Seeds of Agony is officially unbanned as well, so we'll kind of see what goes down there. But yeah, Runeblade mains kind of needed this new hero, as well as Prism mains needed their new hero, because a lot of, you know, old Prism mains tried to do Dromai and just didn't feel the same.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't think we've seen anything as far as hero abilities yet, so we've only been spoiled on like names and a little bit of like health values here. But you know, LSS has not steered us wrong on any heroes, I believe, so far. I think you know, I think at the end of the day, we always see something like really exciting and that will shift the meta. So really, really happy to see these new heroes finally, re-enter the fray, also in like different forms. So like, I don't know, it's just I think a lot of positive things coming here forward.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. I also want to just comment on your accepting, with the woman room blade. I had one person ask me over the weekend. I was behind the booth, and they're asking me, you know, what do you think the ratio from like male to female characters are in this game? And I was like, I think it's like 50%. And like I took the time and I like counted each one, and yeah, like sure enough, it's pretty damn close to being like 50%. So yeah, LSS has always had an equal, women heroes and male heroes, and it doesn't feel forced or overdone or anything. So that's always really nice too.
Yeah, I feel like one of the really
Okay,
good things that this like that they do here is that they give a lot of representation like across the hero base,
they do.
whether that's
Yeah.
for male, female, non-binary, anything like that. So always really good that LSS keeps a thought on that.
hmm Yeah, like the Arachne being non-binary, like just didn't feel like it was out of place. Felt like okay, cool. Like it didn't feel too forced or anything.
Exactly.
All right, so Gabe,
Ooh.
what do you think about the
Yeah, yeah.
the
I
news?
think, well, first I'll talk about Vincent real quick, just with the art, because it's
Yeah,
so cool, like the candle lights. And then I don't know if you see like the hooks hanging from the wall and the handcuffs that have blood on them. Like,
yeah,
some
her art
fun
looks
stuff is
awesome.
going down in there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just stoked for the art. So cool. Prism looks gorgeous as ever. But I think the thing that I took away the most, that I was most excited for from that banquet, was the promo packs they have for judges, and how we're going to
They do
be
have, yeah.
introduced to new cold foils that have never been cold foil before, such as Pummel. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm over the moon to see what kind of stuff they have in the works for that. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, that
Yeah, very very
adjudicator.
cool. Like,
Yeah, that
yeah, go ahead. It's
adjudicator.
all good.
Yeah, that adjudicator border looked kind of interesting. So that was kind of our first look at that as far as like on
Hmm.
Pummel, because that's the border that they're kind of replacing. So we're kind of looking forward to seeing if they have that to other cards. See what kind of things we can see more on the judge line of class and traits.
So cool.
Honestly, what better time now to be a judge?
Literally.
Like the game is, I think, well developed, so I don't think it's like too challenging to become one, and then you get rewarded pretty well. Obviously, you can't play on the events you judge, so you lose out on that, but you are rewarded with very good promos that are probably worth in the triple digits,
Hmm.
honestly. So you're probably doing just fine there.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, and then let's see. I'm trying to think of what else. Obviously, those two big, spoilers for the new heroes coming out were the biggest ones that occurred in
Hmm.
this on the Thursday player meeting deal. Um, one thing that was noticed is that we actually didn't find out when we are going to get the bigger events coming for the rest of the year. It was TBA.
Hmm.
That was the official response. So, we do have some nationals that have been published. But if you're here in the States, you still are wondering when your nationals is going to be. Hopefully, by the time this podcast comes out, we'll know. But who knows? But yeah, that was one of the things that was missed. But I think when you get the joy of like seeing these new heroes, you kind of forget.
They made it worthwhile.
to,
They made it worthwhile.
yeah, you kind of forget to ask and whatnot. So,
Yeah, for sure. And then
are we missing anything?
yeah, so I just wanted to quickly mention on that. We kind of brushed over the Dust Till Dawn side of things. There were quite a few announcements on that. So, with
Hmm
the new Prism, and there's going to be a new Adult Prism name and a new
Hmm.
Young Prism name. So that's kind of interesting. So we'll see what kind of hero abilities they have. I don't know whether they're going to be the same or different because the names are different. So kind of excited to see
Right.
what LSS does there, but also on the Prism and Vincent side of things. for those heroes, they're going to be releasing 10 serialized cards printed by the artist.
That's right.
So hand drawn, so very special cards for people to open. So that should bring a lot of excitement towards the Dusk Till Dawn side of things. And then they've also decided to introduce the Marvel print. So, just kind of being me, I was a little worried hearing that at first, because being a player and getting these cold foil heroes at, our Road to Nationals and Nationals events, I was a little worried that they were going to, bring down the value of those cards. So I mentioned that to other players, but then of course, LSS always knows how to quell the fears, right? James White's pitching right into that quell, right? So, as he's stacking into that, right? They said that they're going to only print 100 of the Marvel variant of these heroes, which is like super super short print. This is going to be even shorter than
That's insane.
Yeah, shorter than the Emperor, right? So, like,
yeah,
they're really trying to bring the value forward of these cards and really hype in these announcements. So I think a lot of people have a reason to open up this Dusk Till Dawn product and be excited for it. So, just kind of wanted to finish up by saying that this Dusk Till Dawn product is going to be extremely hype. There's going to be a lot of good things that's going on for it. New heroes, like high rarity cards, and they kind of announced that super recent. So yeah, very excited. A lot of news, and hopefully, I don't think we were able to get everything, but just because there was so much. But I think
it was.
Yeah, I think the people that play this game and enjoy it have a lot to be excited about in these coming months.
Definitely. Yeah, no, good call on that. I totally forgot about the serialized deal. Yeah, that's definitely one of the big things here. It's the first time Flesh and Blood or LSS is doing it, so we see it in Magic.
Sports cards.
I don't know if Pokemon Sports Cards definitely has it. So it seems like it's the trend of TCG. So okay, so that was Thursday. On to Friday, this is the first day of the Pro Tour. So we'll talk about the Pro Tour now. There was 4 rounds of CC into 3 rounds of draft, and then day 2, 3 rounds of draft into 4 rounds of CC. And all in all, we get the results, which comes out to Dromai's in the top 8, So Dromai got some representation. We saw 2 of them. Mara being the most representative, as she was in the finals. And then we see what we expected, which was 4 Lexis in the top 8, so taking over half of the top 8. All fuseless with their own variants here and there. We've got 1 Azalea, so Ranger was represented quite strong. And then we have the 1 Oldham that took it all with Michael Fang at the helm. And what better guy to do it? Class act guy. You can see it through, even after he won, just couldn't believe that he won himself and just gives all the thanks to everyone else. So you like to see like the good guys win, and that's definitely is the case here.
Oh, yeah. Sweetheart.
Yeah, that definitely seemed to be the case for like Team Wolfpack in general, like for the Pro Tour and the calling. I don't want to spoil on ahead, but yeah, their team had a really good performance this weekend. So
which Brandon called it.
Yeah, no, Wolfpack is strong. That is for sure. I mean, they have a good amount of members, and the amount of work they put in, it showed that it worked. I heard that there's a guy like from Germany. He's followed them around with a camera.
Tales of Alex.
Yes, Tales of Alex. So whenever that video comes out, I'll obviously be watching that. That's gonna be super interesting. But a little sneak peek for our listener. Apparently, these guys on Wednesday, or I think it was Thursday, they rented a room in a hotel and like spent 7 hours looking at every single Outsiders cards, just going through a slide and like talking about each and every one. So it shows the work that got put in, and yeah, we see heavy representation of the Wolfpack in both Pro Tour and calling. But one thing I want to talk about real quick is that the old man got his points, and now we could actually have this conversation. is he gonna be away? Is he gonna go away during the RTN season? You know, he's
Oh.
about where Briar was last like PTQ season. So it kind of makes you wonder: is Oldham and Briar gonna drift away?
Yeah, I
Well,
know we
Eric
kind of
needs
talked about a
sabbatical.
little bit before, like, the Pro Tour even came out. Like, we were kind of questioning, is Briar or not? Briar, is Oldham gonna hit Living Legend before Briar? Because like Briar's just like right there, but
Yeah,
like
she's so close.
now Oldham, he's been making like some moves to get up there, and now he's up there too. So I think more than likely than not, like this Road to National season, we might see both of them Living Legend. So like, I don't know,
It's
like
a possibility.
that's pretty huge, right?
Yeah, yeah. It just shows, especially with when we're seeing 4 Lexis in the top 8. Tales of Aria was strong. That was a strong set.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to ask, like, like Tales of Aria being like the big set, it seems like that seems to be kind of a narrative, this Road to National season. So I wanted to ask Gabe, like, Briar's getting really close there. I know you're a Briar main as well as I am. Are you kind of interested to play her a little bit
Oh
more? Like,
man.
what's the situation there?
That's hard. So it's like, oh yeah, I always want to play Briar because I have the most reps. I love that deck. But I recently started playing Lexi because you got to try it out, and that deck is just equally as fun. Where you're just doing nasty turns with Rain Razors and 3 of a kind, and you're like, wow, it's like Channel Mount Heroic, but I get more cards to attack with. So I don't know. I think definitely I'll be looking at Lexi as my main deck. But then Briar will be right on the back heel if I decide to switch, or if I decide to do a different Road to Nationals after I probably hopefully win it with Lexi on the first one, and then we'd probably jump in with the Briar train.
Yeah, nice having that pocket pick. So I was just kind of
Yeah.
curious your thoughts there. But yeah, like Oldham and Lexi definitely on the forefront there. But I just love that these Tales of Aria heroes are still prominent.
man.
I feel like they're strong. Yeah.
Without a doubt, like their weapons, I think was the biggest part of them because 2 of the weapons are already banned, and you can only play Voltaire, so you might as well choose the one that's not banned and see what you can do. Because, oh man, I don't know, it's just busted.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, the Majestic, and then like Rosetta Thorn being a common like, whew. That's what actually that's kind of reminds me on something like Rosetta Thorn going away. I'm curious to see what Vincent will have as far as a
Hopefully
Runeblade's weapon.
Duskblade will come back.
I mean,
So isn't that
maybe?
So my question is like, so they made Rosetta Thorn Briar's weapon, but wasn't it originally supposed to be Duskblade?
I don't know.
Voltaire is Lexi, and then Winter's Wail is Oldham. So you would think
Right.
Duskblade would have been, because that's what I guess when I say their weapons were banned, I meant Duskblade got preemptively banned, and then Winter's Wail got banned.
Yeah, no, I figured that's what you meant there. I'm gonna see here. It says Briar has Rosetta Thorn, so yeah, I don't know if they've ever changed that. That sounds about right. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious if Visette will have a Shadow Runeblade weapon, or if she'll have a Runeblade weapon.
Yeah, totally.
So that because Rosetta Thorn was by far the biggest thing given to Runeblades. So if she goes, you gotta hope that Vincent kind of comes in
Is
replace.
Duskblade elemental? I gotta look.
No, it's
sure.
just that's just a
Runeblade.
flat Runeblade card, and then
Nice.
something that. Yeah, so like, kind of curious what Vincent gets, but they took away our Galaxy Black, so now that we don't have that
True.
as a chain,
Galaxy
like,
Black did get taken away.
yeah, we're in
It's
shambles.
Nebula Blade.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that was the Pro Tour side. By the way, like I just want to say, like this is really cool. For this Pro Tour, they had like a viewing section so that you can get on elevated and like watch the game, and I thought that was very cool. I think this, we had our fun with like the big tent on 4 Worlds. And then there's the whole fiasco for Pro Tour 1 with like not having enough seats for people, and like not a lot of people not being able to play in the calling. This Pro Tour was actually very well done. The event looked awesome. It looked very professional. It reminded me of like the big Magic ones. They had like a lot of new features. They had different stages. It was very, very well put together.
Yeah, I really like the venue. It seemed like as far as like a lot of these conventions are concerned, I actually like the inside of this convention center. Now I think we can. I think there's room to talk about the city and stuff like that. And like maybe Baltimore wasn't like my favorite place to go to. I've actually never been before, so and that seemed to kind of be the story for some of these Pro Tour competitors. But overall, I kind of liked the venue. I thought it was like a good space, and yeah, like you said, very professionally well done. So kind of excited to see Star City Games, you know, show what they had for the Pro Tour.
Yeah. They Star City Games is one of the best in the business, and it shows right there. All right, so moving on. So Pro Tour went through all 3 days. If you made it all the way to top 8, you played into Sunday as well. The calling started on Saturday, and yet again, every calling breaks the previous record with the how many players there are, and this one broke it. 918 players. That's an insane amount.
Crazy.
Usually in a calling, you would have 7 rounds, and X2 makes it to day 2. Well, because there's so many people, there was 8 rounds this time. Massive amount. And as mentioned before, everyone was able to play. There was no, we're sold out. Everyone was able to play. It was really, really cool, really fun there. And me and Jonathan, we scrubbed out of the Pro Tour, so we played the calling as well. Jonathan, you switched to Zuri. I stayed on the Lexi train, and then we got Paul and to be able to play as well as Blake. So we had Sneep came in for the calling, but yeah, and we all had fun, and that's what we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, on that note for Zuri, like that was kind of interesting because like we only saw like 5 of them or so in the Pro Tour, but then we saw
very little.
Yeah, and then we saw way more. I think there were like 50 plus at the calling, right? So like that was kind of interesting as well. Everyone's trying to show off their assassin deck. I thought I'd throw myself into the fray. Not the coolest assassin player, but assassin's a lot of fun. That's all I gotta say.
Zuri is a ton of fun, and I will say a lot of Arachnes too. My round 1, I lost to an Arachne, which I kind of knew that was a bad matchup. I think Arachne didn't get a lot of love because people just didn't play test with them, like because Arachne is actually like really good in this meta. But I just think Arachne was underexplored. But so I lost to one. So speaking of assassins, but I did end up coming out with a positive record. And if this was a normal size tournament, I would have day 2. But because it was so big, I lost to an Oldham at the very end. It was hella unfortunate, and so we all had a good time, and we all drank our sorrows away later that night. But enough about us, because let's talk about what made it into the top 8. And this top 8 was a lot different than the Pro Tour top 8. You saw a more diversity of heroes, and we still have the same suspects. There was 2 Lexis, 1 Azalea, so Rangers still represented strong. Oldham was much more represented at this, with 3 Oldhams in the top 8. We have the most wild card of them all, which is the Viscerai. Viscerai made it all the way to top 8, which surprised me, honestly. I thought Briar would have been the better Runeblade, but Viscerai, Zach Bunn's Viscerai really came through. And then we have the winner representing Dash. So Merritt Kemp representing Dash won the calling with the exact same list of the Dash that top 8 Battle Hard Richmond. So, don't fix what's not broken, basically.
I just love the Viscerai that made it. Like, did you look at the list yet for it?
I did, yeah.
So sweet.
It looked pretty stock, to be honest. I mean, with the one exception, there was go ahead, say it, Gabe. What's the exception?
I'm double checking myself now to make sure I wasn't looking at the ROG list.
I mean, it's pretty stock, but there's one big thing that stands out.
The crown in this list?
Yeah, that's the big thing. That's
why it's awesome. It had a crown.
Crown of Providence. Yeah, running Crown of Providence with cash-ins. I feel like that's how you have to do it. Oh, Dominion, my bad. Yeah, there's so many crowns.
No, I thought
Crown of Dominion with cash-in. I am all about that. I felt like if Wordblade was going to have a chance, you had to get explosive, and Cash In just lets you do that. So hats off.
So cool.
All right. So that was the calling. And then on Sunday, for those who did day 2 the calling or didn't top 8 the Pro Tour, you get to face in the hardest battle hardened of your life, because this is when all the pros that did top 8 the Pro Tour come and play. 340 players playing at this battle hardened. That's a lot.
Oh my god.
That is a lot. That's like 3.5 times more than your typical battle hardened. It was Blitz, and as we could kind of expect, especially with Icelander and Oldham both reaching Living Legends, this is like their last time to be played. Icelander won and was heavily represented in this, with 5 of the top 8 spots representing Icelander. We saw 1 Oldham, we saw 1 Prism, and then we saw 1 Kano. So Icelander is no more. So is Oldham. So the new Blitz meta is coming.
Hey, but what goes away comes more great things.
Yeah. And yeah, that was basically it. There's a cosplay contest. That always happens. Every time I see these cosplay contests, I just realize I just have to buy my Taylor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was really interesting, because everybody at the cosplay contest, just looking at the cosplayers passing by, everybody had put in a lot of really good effort into their into their costumes, and it's a fierce competition. It really is. I don't know, the amount of time and effort these people put in, I'm glad it's fierce, but the one that we saw that was really interesting, MinMax Games was kind of helping this Dash cosplayer put together her outfit, and she was actually running the Nitro Mechanoid as her cosplay, right? So she's on stilts and everything, walking around, it's pretty epic, right?
It was pretty insane. Yeah, it was really cool. And she's been cosplaying Dash forever, and just would always get second or third. So I was happy to Rachel Stoddard. I know Rachel. Yeah. Anyways, she finally got her first. And then this Taipanus got second, and I actually thought that looked so good. Really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the things that, like you said, everyone's really putting hard effort into it.
Yeah, bringing out the big guns.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say real quick that I had my name was Sneep during this weekend. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys coming out and finding me. If you felt like you found me and you didn't get a promo and you want a promo, just hit me up. I'll give you a promo. I forgot to bring the promo, guys. That was the big story on my end. But some of you I got a hold of, and I'm sending them out tomorrow. But I just want to say thanks for coming up, saying hi. I really appreciate that. That's always the best part about it. So thank you there.
Yeah, I really appreciate everyone's support to the channel and all that. So thank you.
Yeah. And then I'll just say it because I'm not too proud. I got the casters to wear my shirts, and that was fucking awesome for me. I was very stoked about that.
Yeah, that's right. That's another big story of the event, right?
Team
Sneep and Metal Fab Tokens kind of had that, but really not Team Sneep. We're talking Flesh and Baubles here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Eric, can you kind of give us a rundown of what happened at the event?
Yes, I can. So I first want to say that so Friday was the first day that so Flesh and Baubles and Metal Fab Tokens, we both had a booth. It was under Metal Fab Tokens, and so we had the T-shirts, we had the keychains, we had all the Metal Fab Tokens, we had some of the new cards that we spoiled on our last podcast. Everything under the sun. We even had a spoiler for the Rune Champ box that a lot of people are excited about. But of course, in every big event, there's that exclusive resource coin. And boy, oh boy, on Friday, there was a line that went out of the venue itself, just staying in to try to get this resource coin. It was insane. That was awesome to see. And then we got some very good coverage, with a lot of the announcers like Tan Grace, DiMarmata, Flake coming over and getting their T-shirts to wear on stream. It was awesome. Even Brian Gottlieb got one, so everyone represented it very well. And then it had a little trickle effect because come Sunday, I think I was seeing the shirts go around all the time. So we sold like 82% of our product. And yeah, we're definitely going to be at Nationals, all new heroes as well, because that was so much fun. So we'll keep that going for sure.
So good. So good.
Yeah, man, I had to hurry up and buy a shirt and like some of these keychains because like they were gonna go away if I didn't do anything. Like
it's true. It's true.
And like to your point, like the line was snaking around the convention center just for their booth, right? So like, yeah, hashtag blessed, right? But like a lot of people, it seems like they really see the product that y'all are bringing forward, and I think a lot of people do want to put their money into Flesh and Blood products. So the fact that Flesh and Baubles and Metal Fab Tokens have something that's unique in the space, like really great to see, because this is something people have been asking for and they want to throw their money at it. So I think y'all have been seizing a really good opportunity and a means to production here. So really congratulations to all the hard work you, Cheyenne, and Brandon have been doing. So thank you for that, Eric.
I appreciate that. No, thank you. Yeah, it's finally felt like it was paying off on our end. Obviously for Brandon, he's been successful from day one. I mean, that guy was on it. But yeah, it felt good on our end to finally get some good sales going. But yeah, that was Baltimore. It was pretty fun. I actually think I had probably the most fun out of all the big venues that we've been to so far. I know the city gets a lot of flack, but I don't know. I didn't get robbed, so that feels good.
yeah.
Oh,
so you're safe. We're all safe. We all made it back.
Yeah. Oh, very. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about what we got coming up. So RTN season is literally right around the corner. Flesh and Blood is definitely in that pow where we're getting big events after big events. So RTN season going to be, either draft or CC. It is Outsiders draft, not Monarch draft. I thought it'd be Monarch draft since the Nationals is going to be Monarch draft.
You would think, yeah.
But whatever. More Outsiders draft, not a problem. That's a good set to draft anyways. And then the CC meta coming up as well. It's just around the corner. What are you guys doing over there in Montana to get ready for this game?
Oh, man. Over here in Montana, I'm hopping on the computer to practice. Currently at the local skirmishes, we switched over to CC just to get some more reps. I know there's going to be a sweet little group of us that will rally over to Washington because Montana doesn't have that many RTNs. Sadly, Sneep didn't qualify for an RTN, which happens. Hopefully the next season. Next season we'll get there. So I think the first weekend, we're planning on rallying over to Spokane because there's going to be one at forget the name of the store, coolest place ever, Sweet Homies. So one of our buddies that plays, he has one of those huge passenger vans, and so we'll probably load up with like all 10 of us and rally over to Spokane and get a good little Montana.
Do a Flesh and Blood road trip.
Literally, yeah. Last time for we did a skirmish over there, whatever it was called, and we were almost half the people. It was sweet. So we'll do a nice little road trip. And then hopefully do well there. And if that doesn't go well, we might rally over to Billings, which is in Montana. But I don't know if many people know about Montana. It's a pretty huge state. I think it's the 4th largest out of the states. And that's going to be about a 7-hour drive for me if I go over to Billings. Completely almost on the other side of the state. Still not at the end, though. So then I'll go to Billings if we don't qualify and hopefully meet up with some of the Wyoming boys from over there and then the Billings boys and see how that goes.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's
So
good.
so everybody watch out for these Montana mountain people. They're coming in.
Yeah,
Coming in hot.
they're coming down off the
Oh,
mountains.
man,
Yeah, they're going to your event. It's gonna take them 7 hours, so they're gonna be ready to go.
Oh yeah, we're
Right?
prepared.
Yeah, get some games in the van
Oh
going.
yeah, podcast games, deck techs, it's going crazy. Like,
See,
Nice.
that's something that I really like is like when the Road to National season happens, and these people, we all get together because we want to compete.
hmm
Go around and like these long drives, they get tough, but it really just shows the passion that people have. So,
Yeah.
like really love to see that ignited in Road to Nationals. And they've also announced the pricing for that as well. So
Yes.
really cool stuff. I was wondering what they were gonna do
hmm
because like there's a lot of interesting things. Like last year we got the Icelander cold foil. So like
Oh, so hot.
this year they wanted to continue that theme a little bit, do that one of like cold foil for that first place. So that's actually gonna be the Jubilees, like Spellbane, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of crazy. This
The
is gonna be
legendary sword that everyone uses.
I needed one, right? Yeah, for my emperor.
Yeah, the Emperor. Yep.
yeah, kind of interesting that they're doing that as like kind of one of those limited release like hard to win promos. So really
hmm
kind of interested to see like how that kind of works out. And then like
Same.
on like the cold foil hero front, they're going to be doing Uzuri and Riptide adult
That's cool.
versions, right? So
I like that. That is the reason why that I want to go out there, because I want to get both those cold foil heroes. I really do. So yeah, I'm glad that they keep the cold foil heroes coming, because those are always fun to try to get. I joke with the Jubile, but I would want it. I mean, I wouldn't scuff at it if I got
I'd be
it. I'll
stoked.
be pretty happy.
yeah, you play that, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
so
awesome.
and you know what? There was like some Dorinthia builds that were playing it like against like a Kano or Icelander, because you get that free spell void. So it's not terrible, but I'm interested to see if that sword gets played in other decks coming forward. I mean, we are supposedly, I mean, a lot of things is kind of up in the air, but we are supposedly going to be getting a like a new warrior in this Dusted Dawn
hmm
set. So maybe Jubile, maybe there's a reason why first place gets it, because maybe that's going to be the weapon you're going to want to have.
I would think there has to be a
with
reason.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arcane is definitely gonna play a big role. And like something that we kind of haven't mentioned, haven't really gotten into a little bit, but like with Jubil also like being a main thing. Icelander didn't see a lot of play at last Road to Nats like in a huge way.
hmm
So like
Mm-hmm.
those cards that get released for first place, they have been playable somewhat. So I wouldn't
It's true.
expect LSS to like release that without it being playable. Maybe
hmm
with like these new I don't want to say heralds, because really what they're doing is they're turning the heralds into archangels for this
True.
new set. So it's like that's kind of interesting seeing that mechanic. They're gonna have ward, all that kind of stuff. So like I'm curious how like Jubil kind of plays into those a little bit, because like they're gonna be dealing some of that arcane damage. You
Yeah.
can't run and hide from illusionist, right? So
Oh man, big
Yep.
time.
Yep. Yeah. There's got to be something, right? So yeah, I joke, but I want that sword, because
Oh yeah.
yeah,
oh yeah.
I'm specking. I'm specking.
Right.
Yeah, so Road to Nationals just around the corner. One thing I kind of wanted to talk about with that is that, we just got the Pro Tour, and we just saw Oldham win it, and we saw so many Alexis going around. We saw some Dromeyes. We saw the calling results as well, with Dash and, so on and so forth. But what I think one thing that's like really interesting when it comes to like RTNs and PTQs is that, yeah, that's cool as far as like what the meta looked like for the Pro Tour and the calling,
Yeah.
but that doesn't really matter. It's really what your local
Big
meta
time.
is. And so it's interesting, like, even though we just got these big tournaments and we get these big deck lists and these, big results, all that's good and should be taken in consideration on what hero you plan to play and like your matchups. But like really what it comes down to is what's Jimmy going to be playing? What's Sandra going to be playing? So you're really gotta kind of pick and choose, and it's because of that we can see certain decks like Bolton take an RTN or stuff like
So
that.
cool.
So yeah, I really enjoy these seasons because it's kind of up in the air sometimes.
Yeah. So
That being said, though, I'll probably take Lexi. she's just so fun and good, like you were saying.
Oh, yeah.
How about you, Jonathan? What are you feeling towards?
Yeah, I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. I think those Tales of Ari heroes are like a lot of fun. Like again, Oldhim, Lexi kind of being my main areas, but like
Yeah.
at the same time, like I think Lexi has a lot going for her right now, and like the more and more like we talk about this deck, the stats only get better and better in like my mind.
Mhm.
So
True,
yeah, like
true.
I like having that Briar Pocket pick. That will always kind of be like one of those heroes that I'm a little beholden to.
Mhm.
So kind of curious to see if I'll bring out that deck, but yeah, really leaning towards that those other Tales of RA heroes.
I mean,
but
I got a question then, because you played Azuri for the calling. Like, do you see yourself even thinking about Azuri at all for this season or for other people, or what were your thoughts on that after the calling?
okay, so
That's a good question.
that's a really good question, and like you calling me out, I might actually say something controversial here. I don't know.
All right,
So
all right.
kind of curious what you think about this as well, Eric. But I think Arachne might actually be the better assassin.
Oh, I like this. All right, no, let's break this down. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think Arachne's kit definitely moves a little bit more towards blocking, bringing in those silver tokens and like really going off of contracts a little bit more. I think Arachne can also run like those Razor Reflexes and like Codex of Blood Rot. Your
It's cut to the chase.
yeah, your death touches. I think that as far as like that kind of contract level of playing, I think we've been seeing Uzuri play it a little bit more. And like yeah, Uzuri's ability can make attacks like really sneaky along with those isolate stealth cards. But like I think at the end of the day, Arachne does it just a little bit better. And
I
like
like this.
yeah, I don't know. It's just it feels like as far as like the play style and like how defensive it is, especially in this meta, I think it actually does kind of have a place. It's just whether or not like you have the stones to like test it as a player, right? Because like
Fair enough.
it seems a little bit of a risk, right? Because you have to be confident in assassin, but like I feel like the only reason people are hesitant about it is because it didn't have like a huge foothold when Dynasty came out.
Mm-hmm.
But like the more
Yeah.
I look at the stats, these cards and stuff that Assassin was able to get, especially with things like the frailty traps and inertia traps, those daggers are like really annoying and deadly to deal with, right? Like
Mhm.
there's a lot that the kit has going for it, and yeah, I just think it might be the better assassin. But curious to hear your thoughts, Eric.
Okay. So, I first want to say that a good reason not to play Assassin in RTN season is because it's a hard matchup in the Dromai, and Dromais are oftentimes favorites of like you'll see some Dromais in your local meta. It's almost guaranteed. So if you feel like you can avoid them, all right, go for the Assassin. If you feel like you're gonna be facing them, okay, well keep that in mind. It's a bad matchup. But as far as Arachne versus Uzuri, I actually really like that because I think that's a good point. When you see Uzuri's running more contract cards, it then does become what's the big difference? Uzuri can do that switch damage, but Arachne also kind of has surprise damage too with like the cut to chases and razor reflexes, as mentioned before. He can't play Razor's Edges too well, but nor was Uzuri. So, in the same way that Uzuri had isolate into like a death touch, Arachne has a death touch into Razor Reflex. And Arachne blocks just as well. I think, as you said, Dynasty really kind of put a stink on Arachne. As far as to general, I mean, you got a lot of assassin mains out there that respected and liked Arachne, but to the general public, it was like, well, Arachne's just not quite there. However, I think it's really was under like tested because like Arachne got Codex of Frailty, which is like one of the best cards right now.
Yeah.
and that's huge. Death Touch, I got another one. And the daggers, having more than just Spider Bite and having like a Spider Bite and, like a Scale Peeler or, what have you, that's just as big. So I think Arachne got a bump, but just, yeah, like you said, like people just don't have the cojones to really like go out and like try and.
Yeah, they all got the same tools. They got the spreading plagues. They got your plague hives. Like it's really
Yeah.
interesting. Like I really think that play style, like it lends itself to both assassins. So the question must be asked: who's the better assassin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I could actually say if Zuri has put up results, but if you gave those same people Arachne, could they do it? I kind of think they could, honestly. I don't think it's like one's up here and one's down here. I think they're really more like this, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a great question. Gabe, you're a Arachne fan, so I already know. No.
I do.
What do you like?
I do like the whole the frailty, because you go like frailty, codex frailty, sorry, and then you bring back your leave no witnesses. You make them put something in their bin, and then they go into the arsenal, and then you come in with your leave no witnesses, and then you take the arsenal card away from them too, or take away their hand.
Yeah, Assassin has it so good with Codex of Frailty.
I think they're the ones that really got like some of the best combos with that card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, though they definitely put that card to work. That's for sure.
I'm sorry. Can I make a quick prediction on this Road to National season? I think that I'm gonna say something controversial again, just because like I'm on that high a little bit.
I'm gonna join you, I think. So unless you're gonna say what I'm about to say, or I'm gonna say, go ahead. I want to hear it.
I think Arachne's gonna get more Living Legend points this Road to National season than Azuri.
Ooh,
that's good. Okay, you know what? Here at the WINANDIN podcast, we make statements, all right? And if you followed our last statement, we were 100% correct. So let this be known that Arachne is going to get more love.
Dude, yeah. Yes. Dude, it's all you, though. It's all you. Like that Pro Tour prediction, holy
crazy.
Oh, man. All right, can we talk about it just a little bit?
I think we need to go a little for Eric, yeah.
Yeah, last podcast, a lot of fun. I wasn't able to attend, but we were able to get Brandon Flores and, talking a little bit of Metal Fab tokens, and, like, we made some predictions, right? So, like, I think a lot of people had Oldhim winning, and everybody had, like, a different person, right? So, like, I had Maciej, which, like, we were able to see him at the event. Just want to give a quick shout out to him. Like, really appreciate him. And he was actually, we talked to him, told him these predictions. He was a little upset, and he gave us some of his Poland tokens to us. Yeah, so like really, really appreciate being able to cheer on for him. I wasn't able to see him myself, so I was a little upset about that, but I did get those tokens thanks to
cool.
A teammate, so really glad to see that. But then on kind of continuing that, you predicted Michael Fang to win.
I did. He was the one that I wanted to win the most. Yeah, because like I don't know, like I will say Michael Fang is like I'm so happy he won because he really is like the biggest sweetheart. Because I had two top 8s, but I felt like no one knew my name, and he was one of the guys that like it would be like, hey Eric, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's me, like. It's like, oh shit, you recognize me. And so it's like, it felt really cool. And it always felt like super casual to talk with him. It didn't feel like, like he just has an embrace to him. So honestly, it was me really wanting that to be the case. Now, obviously he's a very good player. So like, it wasn't out of the ballpark to vote, pick him as the choice, but it was a mixture of like wanting him to, and then he has the results to back it up.
Oh yeah, this our prophet, kind of measuring himself down a little bit. That's very humble of you, Eric. Oh. Very humble.
I did talk to your guy, Gabe Fino, and he was like, "Why the hell did he choose me?" But he did pretty well. I mean, he ended. Yeah, he ended with a good positive record. So, wasn't too well.
Dude, I love that we can kind of get behind these players, root for them, and like it really shows how strong the community is when we go to these events, talk to them, and like it's just a lot of fun, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just really
It
cool.
is actually, yeah. I think everyone's really approachable too. Obviously, some people are gonna, maybe make you a little nervous. Our good friend Staxwell got to face up against Michael Hamilton, and he'll be the first to tell you that he nerves got to him. But that's not to speak on Michael Hamilton's personal character, but it's just like a lot of these players are super approachable, and even though some of them are like really good, they're just regular guys, and that shows. It's really nice.
Dude, I love it because it's like in like the normal world, Michael Hamilton is like not an intimidating guy at all, but like
right, yeah.
if you know who he is and you sit across the table from him, like you're basically sitting across from like a mountain. Like
yeah, I know, it's so interesting. It's so cool in that regard.
I love it. I love how like it's like we really do kind of embody the heroes we play, right? And it's like Michael Hamilton, he is Icelander, and it's like I don't want to fight against an Icelander.
Right. Yep.
But anyway,
Yep.
like those kinds of things, right? So it's like just I love that. I love it.
It's a lot of fun. This community is great.
Good.
Okay, I think just the last little piece of information here we got is we have, well, first I told you that there is a little controversial thing that I wanted to say as well. All right, so we know where we know where nationals are going to be, except for the United States. One piece of information is we don't know where Worlds it's going to be. We know it's going to be in Europe, but we're not sure where. Now, here is my hot take. Okay, I think that Worlds was going to be announced that on that Thursday, as planned. It was going to be announced that it was going to be in Paris, right?
Oh.
But now you have all these events happening in Paris, and so now LSS is trying to figure out, okay, do we just withhold the storm and keep it in Paris, or do we move it? This is just a conspiracy, but this is something I think might be behind the works and why we didn't get a Worlds announcement.
All right, I heard conspiracy. Get out the tinfoil hat.
Yeah, this is the tinfoil hat one for sure. Yeah.
No, I kind of like
all
that.
going up my ass. Like, don't take this as serious at all.
That's decent.
But yeah. Okay, so the last piece of information is we have a banned and restricted announcement that came out, and basically the only thing that really changed was Go Bananas gets banned from UPF. No,
that's a sad day.
That is the case. That is the case. I mean, and that one makes sense. But really, the big one to talk about is in Blitz, Drone of Brutality gets unbanned. Now we have a video that should be out by the time this is out, of a deck that will take advantage of that. But I know that back in the old IRA Blitz days, Drone of Brutality was a big thing. So, Jonathan, you played in those days. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on this Drone of Brutality.
Yeah, kind of excited to see it back. I know the market has been like really, really crazy about this card coming back. The value of it has shot up like almost unexpectedly, I would say. Like, something I want to bring up is that, they printed it in the first Belgium run, or first couple Belgium runs of Welcome to Wraith, but then when it got banned from the CC format and just Blitz format entirely, they stopped printing that card. So it's a short printed card.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, in comparison,
I just assumed I have 3. Now I'm kind of wondering if I do.
Yeah, in like when we're looking at it like as a Welcome to Wraith Unlimited product, it is one of the shorter printed cards. Now,
that's insane.
As far as like how printed is it compared to the rest of Welcome to Wraith, I'm not sure what the number is, but it is shorter than other cards. So it's actually rarer than a lot of these Majestics that we're seeing. So
wow,
that's why we're seeing the value pump up a little bit. But kind of excited to see it play. I was curious along the lines of like Briar playing it.
Ooh.
Because Briar also has access to like Rites of Replenishment and like Crown of Seeds. So like I'm curious,
Right.
like a type of briar that like is just gonna be there for a long time.
They did say that the format they plan that to be a little bit more mid range, and which is why they feel like Journal Brutality can help add to that instead of just being like this, fast like 3 to 4 turn format. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe that's right.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the reason why they seem to introduce it is because of like illusionist prevalence, because they believe that illusionist is going to be a little bit of an issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
This next
Makes
Blitz
sense.
season, so like they're trying to get ahead of it by bringing out that Drone of Brutality, and I don't know, it's like getting the gears turning a little bit, right? Because it's like, all right, like this card's back, how can we abuse it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, really, like it got banned for a reason, right? Like, how can we find that reason again? Um, Gabe, what do you think?
I'm with you there exactly, Eric. I'm excited for that one deck tech that you threw together.
Well, go ahead, and say it,
So
man.
it's the
Yeah, I'm curious.
okay, yeah. So it's Eric's deck, not my deck. So all credit goes to Eric,
Nah, I
and
mean,
wherever he inspired it from, so on and so forth. But it's the no arrow, no bow, Riptide, like defensive, just coming in with Drone of Brutality and block, and it looks so sweet with like Nourishing Emptiness. So you get to combo it
Oh.
with your Nourishing's always hit because Drone goes
Oh,
back in, and it looks so fun. So I'm stoked for this card to come out so I can try that deck.
oh my goodness, that deck's gonna be so interesting because like it already was interesting. Oh
right.
goodness.
It looks so good.
I never thought to run like something like Nourishing Emptiness in a Riptide deck, but like that, like it makes sense. It makes sense.
It really
Mhm.
does. Yeah, you just sit back with your traps and just ping them down, and then you got your big attacks coming in.
It looks so fun.
Yeah, I legitly think it could be like a part of the meta, like legitly. So we'll find out.
Like that's a deck that like no one else can build that kind of deck. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's not something that very many people come upon. So
Mhm.
it's like
Sure.
being able to put your name on something like that, or like having a tech like that, I think is really interesting and like really creative, right? So like
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, so
Yeah,
everyone keep an ear to the ground, right? This is a really interesting tech, and I think a lot of people are behind it as just like it being kind of the new thing, right?
I think it fits in pretty well. So I'm very excited for it. I'll say that. Definitely excited for it. I'm sure a little tweaking needs to be done, but we'll have the deck list in this or we'll have the deck list in this video as well. I don't know why I cursed there. I didn't need to
Eric's
curse.
stoked, bro. Eric's hyped. Get ready. It's Riptide.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Oh my god.
Anyways, we'll have the deck list in this video as well, so you can see it here, and then or at least the YouTube link to our other video. But
Yeah, check it out.
yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And then I'm curious just to see where we're going to see Drone Brutality. It makes sense with Oldham gone because I could definitely see Oldham using that and exposing it big time. So it makes sense that now that he's gone, it's okay to do it. And yeah, I'm very excited to see where Blitz kind of goes because some of the criticism was it was a little too fast. So if it's slowing down, that might be something good to keep players playing in and whatnot.
Definitely.
So find out. That being said, though, King is probably still going to be really good. I'll just say that.
This is true.
Yeah. Okay. I think, despite there being so much to cover, I think we covered quite a bit. Like, how do you guys feel?
Exceptional.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of news, but we were able to hit all the high notes. So
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Great week.
Well, I'm looking at it, and we're like almost at 59 minutes, so we might be able to get under an hour here. I'm going to close this out. All right. Well, just want to say thank you to both my co-hosts, Gabe and Jonathan here. Thank you guys, as always. It'd be super boring, just me, so I appreciate you guys bringing in the extra content. Thank you for those that are listening on Spotify and watching us on YouTube. Definitely appreciate you guys. I always say we get more and more views every time, and it's because of you guys. So I greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you're working out with us, go get those pumps in. I appreciate that comment earlier. Um, and then, just want to say thanks to, just want to give another thanks to all who came up and said hi. And yeah, appreciate seeing you guys. I will always go by Sneep. I'm totally fine with that being my second name. That being said, thanks again for watching and keep on fabbing.